Exchange Server 2013 and 2016 history. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about history of Exchange Server 2013 and 2016, and we're going to see the feature differences. So Exchange Server 2013 was released on 2013, and then the biggest change that Microsoft came up with was Exchange Admin Center. So if you remember back in Exchange Server 2010, 7, 3, and other versions that we had for Exchange, you had to use the Microsoft Management Console or Exchange Management Console to load your Exchange server and then go ahead and do the configuration. But with the Exchange Server 2013, they just came up with a solution where you can load the Exchange server through Internet Explorer and just enter your username and password, the admin username and password, and then access your Exchange Server administration console and then do your configuration. So this was one of the greatest change that we had in Exchange Server 2013. So the other change that we had was the data loss prevention. Data loss prevention is really a good thing because it is actually a system designed to detect a potential data breach or leakage or incident in a timely manner and prevent it. When it happens, actually, sensitive data such as personal company information, it's not necessary that it should be company's data. Like your personal data can be confidential, it can be secret, but most of the time, like companies' data is always secret, or if it's your data, like the credit card information, social security numbers. So if let me give you an example of a bank or a credit union where they have got like information about their customers, and all information that they have is sensitive, and they never want those informations to be hacked or stolen by someone. So DLP is really useful because it works through policies, it works through packages that contains a set of conditions made up of rules, action, and exceptions. So it's like if a packet comes from outside with an attachment of, for example, give me your information.exe or attachment.docx, and it comes from a domain name called gold.com or anything.com. So what are you doing in here is like you're telling the Exchange server through its data loss prevention feature that packet comes from outside that is going to match such conditions that we have defined in our data loss prevention engine. So just block it or just deny it. So that's how the DLP works. Like they are like made up of rules, action, and exceptions. So these packages are based on transport rules and can be created in Exchange Administration Center or through Exchange Management Shell, like through command prompt. So once created and activated, they will start analyzing and filtering emails. A nice feature is that you can create a DLP policy without activating it. So once you create a DLP policy, what you can do is you can just create it, and it's up to you to activate or not. It allows you to test its behavior without affecting mail flow. So once you create like a transport rule or DLP, and then you do not need to activate it for it to work. You can just create it and then test it and then activate it, because most of the times it can be very difficult for you to create DLP and then activate, and maybe it's gonna behave the way you really don't want, like it's gonna behave weird, it's gonna affect emails. Then that's the time that you will be in trouble. So that's a good practice. So we already saw that Exchange Admin Center, we learned about data loss prevention. The other thing that we have is like SharePoint and Skype for business integration. So you can just do SharePoint integration to just configure it with Exchange Server so that you can just share documents. You can share all of your data that you have in SharePoint. And then Skype for business integration is another great feature where you can integrate your Skype with Exchange Server, and then just add it in your Outlook so that when you create meetings, you can add a Skype link so that people outside your office, they can join the meeting through a Skype, and then they can talk, they can share their screen, they can share their camera. So it's like live meeting going on through Skype. So that's another great thing for Exchange with Exchange Server 2013. And then it has like built-in malware for making sure that there will be like emails coming from outside which are like unknown. They will be like going to be blocked. There will be like no viruses, and there will be a protection for your Exchange server. And then the other thing that they did was like they made, if you see in Exchange Server 2010 and 7, there was like mailbox role, hub transport role, edge transport role, unified messaging role, and client access role. So what they did was like they used two server roles, one as a mailbox server role and one as a client access server role. So with Exchange Server 2013, there was only two roles. One was mailbox role and the other one was client access role. I kept saying was. It's not actually was. It is. So Exchange Server 2013 just came up with two roles, and what they did is actually they just combined all those five roles and they came up with two roles. So they simplified the roles, which is really a good thing. Where the client access role is like giving you the two main components. This handles the client connections to mailboxes. So client access role is just handling connections to the mailboxes. So clients through their Outlook, when they're connecting to client access. So that's one of the good things with that. And then it's also giving you the front end transport service, and this performs various email traffic filtering functions as well as email routing between the Exchange servers and outside the world. So client access is really doing a great job. It's just doing the filtering, it's just sending the emails between Exchange servers and then outside the organization or world. So then what mailbox service is doing in here? So mailbox server role is performing like hub transport role in here. It is similar to Exchange 2007 and 2010 hub transport server role. This service actually provides email routing within the organization and connectivity between front end transport server and the mailbox transport services. So this client access server role is just sending your emails outside the world and like on internet. And then this mailbox server role is performing the hub transport role uh, uh, work. And then what this is doing is it is just sending and receiving emails like inside your organization, same as Exchange 2007 and 2010. And then the other thing that mailbox server role is doing is it's performing the mailbox transport service. This service passes actually email messages between the hub transport service and mailbox databases. So all emails that you receive is actually like the mailbox server is making sure that Whenever an email is received, it just go through the mailbox database, and then the database just sends it back to hub transport, and all those mail flow process that is taking place for email messages between the hub transport service and mailbox databases is done through mailbox transport service, which is part of mailbox server role in exchange server 2013. And one other thing that I need to mention in here is the Exchange Server 2013 Edge Transport Server. Edge Transport servers are optional for organizations and are designed to sit in DMZ, which is demilitarized zone. It works as a firewall for you, where you are just separating your servers and just letting your servers to sit on cloud, and then give you services like they're like not inside your network, they're like outside your network. For example, if this is your DMZ firewall, or it's a firewall, and this is like your internet, and if you want to put your server outside the network, what you can do is you can put it like in here, and then anything that is like inside and this is like outside, so anything that is connected here is inside. So that's how you connect your edge transport or any other servers that you want it to be accessed from outside. You connect it to DMZ. That's how you just do the connection. So it always needs to go to the firewall or the DMZ. So as I said, it sits in a DMZ network to provide SMTP connectivity and mail flow in and out of the organization, uh, whether to or from the internet or Office 365. The edge transport role can be used to satisfy the requirement that some organizations have, to not permit any direct communication from internet to internal network. So the main idea or the main goal behind making sure that the edge transport server is outside is just to make sure that whenever an email comes here, it comes in the edge transport. It's not directly going to the inside network. So let's say if you don't have any DMZ, you don't have any edge transport, any email that comes in and it just go directly, for example, to client access role in Exchange or hub transport role in Exchange Server 2007 and 2000 or 2010. So you're directly communicating with the hub transport server role, which can be insecure. So that's why most organizations, they don't want the outside communication to take place like directly to their inside network. So that's why they use edge transport server role. Exchange management shell with more commands, as you can see in here. So there was like more commands added in Exchange Server 2013, where they just added more commands, and then you were able to do a lot with the management shell. So most people were really mm, liking the management shell, because the management shell was doing things much faster, and they most people really liked to use like commands rather than just going to the graphic user interface and then just configuring it from there. So there was more commands added in management shell. And another thing is like cost saving server. But this is something that I really want to mention, that in Exchange Server 2010 and 2007 you had 5 roles. So most organizations, they had a policy that we need a separate physical server for each role. So when you need 5 different physical servers for each role, now you're spending more money for each role and you're buying servers. So what you're doing in here, you're just spending more money. But with Exchange Server 2013, you only need two servers because there are only two roles. So it's helping you to save money too. So this was Exchange Server 2013, and with Exchange Server 2016, there was like no major changes. They made no special change in Exchange Server 2016. That's why most people just call it like it is Exchange 2013 Service Pack 2. That's all that they say. So there was no major changes again. There was just little bit of improvements like in searching and filtering, in data loss prevention. They just added more features, or they made it just faster, making sure that the performance is really good. So you can actually collaborate with documents using a OneDrive. That's another good thing that you can do with 2016. Office Web App Server, that's another thing for web applications, where you can just use your Office in your um, web browser. And then search performance is increased. Like search performance was really increased, like you were able to search with more options, and you were able to just search more specifically, and then the performance was really increased. And then they just added more options into DLP, like adding more rules, standards, and exceptions and actions, where you were able to protect your organizations from intruders or from hackers more in a much better way. So I hope you learned something with this video, and I'll just see you in next lesson. Thank you.